What's up guys, I'm Nico of CamCrunch, and in today's episode of Film Friday I want to talk about Lomography and Lomography cameras, the specific ones that I own. So Lomography is both a movement and a company that really grew to popularity in sort of the early to mid 2000s. And I remember when I was in high school, a lot of Lomography stores started popping up, even in Manila. And it was all based on the idea that Lomography should really be a tool to capture life but not interfere with it. So there are these 10 golden rules of Lomography, and in the end they basically just say that you should disregard all rules because, again, the camera is just a tool to help capture life and not to get in the way with it. You know, enjoy life and use the camera to capture it. So that's why when you get these Lomography cameras, they're all really basic. They have usually a fixed shutter speed. They have a fixed or semi-variable aperture. So this one is an f8 lens, but I believe you can do f8 and f11 depending on what you set it to, but the lens just says f8. The focus is very, very simple. It says, you know, one person, three people, bigger group, and landscape. So that's how simple the focus is. And you have your shutter button, which can do, you know, regular shutter, which is I think 1/125th, and then you have your bulb setting. So that's how basic this camera is. You just take it around with you, make sure your focus is fine, and then you just click. You don't have too many other things to worry about when you're shooting with a camera like this. And again, that's really what Lomography is about. Now, Lomography is now also a company, so it's not just a movement. And I believe it's an Austrian-based company now, and they produce a lot of cameras. They've revived a lot of classics, so whether it's the LCA, which they produce now, or the Holga, which is another sort of toy camera that was produced in the past, which they're producing now, they're really bringing back these classics that used to exist, and they're recreating it in their own way. Sometimes, you know, pretty much the same, sometimes with additional modifications, and then they're slapping the Lomography name on there, which is nice, I think. I think, you know, these cameras are really great cameras, and it's good that they still exist to today. So the first camera that I own, again, is the Holga 135, which is a baby version of the Holga, which is very simple. It's just got your shutter, your focus, the f8 lens. The shutter speed is fixed apart from bulb. And yeah, you just focus, click. You can change the aperture from f8 to f11. I don't really know if that actually works, but that feature's there. And all you have to do is click. Now this is a 47mm lens, which is sort of how you see the world, but it's a little bit narrow for me, and the viewfinder isn't too accurate, but it's really fun, and I got this camera for really cheap. It's the Pendleton edition, which normally goes for, I think, $100, but I got it for like 20 bucks. This one is my first Lomo camera, which my friend actually gave me right before we graduated from high school. And this is the second version of the fisheye, which isn't a replacement, it's sort of a different version, and sort of upgraded version. And it's got a fisheye lens, so you can basically capture anything that's in front of you. This viewfinder is nice, but it's not that accurate, although it's nice looking through it. But again, you just point it basically at your subject, make sure they're a little bit closer so that they don't look too tiny in the middle, and you'll be sure to capture them. You have the lock, the normal, and the bulb settings for this. You can do a double exposure. You have a flash, which is nice. And yeah, that's how simple this camera is. So everything that Lomo makes is pretty simple, but they do have, you know, more advanced cameras like the LCA, like I told you. They have some specialty cameras like the Horizon cameras, which swing the lens so that you can create a panoramic view. They have some cameras that take multiple shots at the same time. They have, you know, all sorts of cameras. So that's, you know, what makes their company a little bit unique and a little bit fun. So that's it, guys. That's for today's episode of Film Friday. If you guys have any Lomo cameras, you know, write them down in the comment box down below. If there are any cameras that you recommend that I try out, also write those in the comment box down below. And tell me what you guys want to see in next week's episode of Film Friday. Again, I'm Nico of CamCrunch. You can follow us in the social networks. The links will be down below. And I'll see you guys in the next one.